Hello, I'm Gina Ryan, Director of Hardin County Educational and Community Television, and today I want to welcome you to EC3 HOSA Medical Moments. This is a program that brings you information about some of the current health issues or health topics that really affect our area. So joining us today is Melissa Phillips, and she's with the Lincoln Trail District Health Department. You have a new title, and you also serve a 7-county area or 5-county area? 6 counties, right there in the middle. So Melissa, for our audience that may not be as familiar, tell us about yourself and your new role or your new title.
So my role is just kind of morphed into a full-time. I was our half-time public information officer. Now I'm our full-time community and public relations officer. So just expanded those duties a little bit.
And full-time toward that effect. Prior to that, you did a little bit of education and things.
Correct. So now I am full-time graphic designer, community relations. Yes, all the things.
Tell us the services that the Lincoln Trail Health Department does in the district and how many counties you serve. Tell us about those counties.
So we do serve 6 counties. It's Hardin, LaRue, Marion, Meade, Nelson, and Washington. I always have to do them in alphabetical order so I don't forget anybody. Our clinics are completely open for services again. So a lot of our services are for families who kind of are in the gap, we call it. And maybe they don't have insurance, maybe they don't have insurance that covers certain services. So we're that provider that can help those folks.
And those locations, are they, can you just briefly touch on where those locations are?
So our administrative office is here in Elizabethtown, but there is an actual clinic that provides services in each of those counties. So Hardin County, it's in Elizabethtown. Got to go in order again. LaRue County, it's in Hodgenville. In Marion, it's in Lebanon. In Meade, it's in Brandenburg. Nelson, it's in Bardstown. And Washington and Springfield.
Right, and you have a strong social media presence and things like that, so people can find out information at what are some of your various sites? Facebook, webpage?
So I would first send you to our website, which is just our initials, ltdhd.org. And then we are also on Facebook, and we're on Instagram.
Okay. Do you offer any new services that you didn't offer before that's recently started?
So our harm reduction program is relatively new. We do have syringe service programs in 3 of those counties, but we can provide some of those services out of all 6 of the clinics. We have a peer support specialist that works out of that program. So that's somebody who has, lived experience with addiction and wants to help other people find treatment and help. We are looking forward to this fall to adding pregnancy testing back to our services, and hopefully this fall adding more vaccinations for older adults.
Can we briefly touch on the Medicaid issue that just happened in the last day or so in terms of a lot of a safety net has now kind of been removed? I'm assuming that will greatly affect your all's office in terms of more clients?
So again, if they don't have coverage or they don't have coverage that covers, a lot of times it's for vaccines that we see a lot of folks, definitely we can be that provider.
Mm-hmm. And also new down the pipe, and I know it's going to take a long time to implement, is prescription drugs. Maybe those things that, such as diabetes care and things along that line. Medicaid can now kind of broker a deal with some of those pharmaceuticals. And I guess in the long run, does that assist you all in your cost of that as well in the future? I know that it's just...
We don't do a lot on the medication side of things, but we can definitely help connect people with those prescription assistance programs if that would benefit them.
Hot topic right now, it's hot. So tell us about some of the services and what are the look fors and what do people need to know about that?
So you're right. It's been extremely hot, unseasonably hot temperatures, and it looks like this week we're going to start climbing again because some of these storm systems that are going through in the south. So I just wanted to bring some tips, just some practical things, if you're dealing with that heat, how to take care of yourself and your family. And number one is you got to stay hydrated. So you don't wait till you're thirsty to start drinking, and water is always going to be your best option.
Right.
Try to stay in air conditioning as much as possible. If you don't have air conditioning at home, some communities are standing up what we call cooling centers. Mm-hmm. If you don't have one of those in your community, think of common public places like your public library, where you can go spend some time, read a book, and get yourself cooled down. Mm-hmm. If you do have to be outside, try to find some shade and limit that strenuous activity, because it's very easy to go into heat exhaustion or heat stroke, which can be life-threatening. As far as clothing, light colors are best, something that's loose and comfortable. If you can, take cool showers and baths. That'll help bring that body temperature down, especially for your children. Mm-hmm. And our older adults, please check on them. If you have family members that may not have air conditioning, or you have neighbors that are elderly, check on them frequently. Make sure they're doing okay, and take them to cool places if you can. And then our furry family members, make sure you're taking care of those too. Mm-hmm. If you can, bring them inside. If not, make sure they also have shade and lots of fresh water. And don't ever, even when it's just warm, leave children or pets in a closed vehicle. Exactly.
I was at a store the other day, and the young lady says, "Oh, I hope my dog doesn't jump out of the car," because she had her windows rolled down, for that ventilation. And I'm almost like, well, when it's too hot for your animal to be in a vehicle, maybe you should leave that animal home for that car ride and not take them out in that heat.
And something else with our pets too. Pavement gets really, really hot in these temperatures, mm-hmm. and that can burn their paws. So, treat your pets like you do your family. Are there some
signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke that you can look for when you are out in this heat? If you're working with someone, obviously, if you're not with another person, what do people need to kind of be aware of if they are going to be overcome?
I would recommend, if you are going to have to be working out in this heat, to let somebody know that you're out there so they know to check on you. If you stop sweating, mm-hmm. that's a sign that you need to take care of yourself. If you start getting dizzy or nauseous, those are signs that I need to stop and I need to get my body cooled down.
Well, even at sports, we've been in our sports weeks for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and many of our teams, of course, we have a threshold for when they can play the game, and our athletic directors and our coaches really take high attention to those type of things. So don't be an impatient kind of person when the score or the team is stopped to take heat breaks, water breaks, such as that. And so we've experienced a number of those things as we've been out on assignments. And likewise, those people in the stands, those stands get hot, mm-hmm. and especially for little kids. And we think that they're really resilient, but sometimes because they are small, can be affected that way.
And
really
if they're really small, they can't tell you when they're in trouble. So
right.
Yeah, definitely take care of the littles. Keep them inside if you can. And I do applaud the sports teams that are delaying games, mm-hmm. so it's cooler in the evening, or they're taking breaks for their athletes.
Right, and we do have a great health team that show up, that are available at all of our high school and most middle school events also that are outside. When you look at this heat exhaustion or heat stroke, is there a window of time that we have to be concerned about to getting them care? Is it something that you do need to have an ambulance there, or just kind of take care of yourself?
It kind of depends on the symptoms the person is exhibiting. If they get to the point where they have passed out, they're having trouble breathing, you do need to call 911, and you do need to get them cooled down immediately. So that's when you remove any clothing you can, get the cold, wet towels on the neck and the groin, Put a fan on them if you can. Submerge them if you can and support them. They could lose consciousness, so you definitely want to support them. But you've got to get that body temperature down quickly.
Right. I have remarked in 38 years of doing what I do, it seemed like the last 2 years I've seen more of our crew, our student crew, be overcome by heat. So, which is unusual. I'm not sure if they have just been used to air conditioning for a while. It might be their first exposure. And two, we're seeing temperatures that we haven't seen.
Yeah, this
Especially
is unseasonable.
Yeah, especially in September. And you think a little bit now today, as we're taping this, absolutely stunning weather. So I do appreciate that. But even we were at the Heartland Festival parade, beautiful morning, a little bit overcast. But then as the parade got a little bit longer in the day, it started getting heated in a quick fashion. So we, again, were taking precautions with our students. So parents, just be aware of that. Grandparents also. And students, just take aware of your grandparents too. It's just really important to keep an eye on them, especially when they're outside.
Just take care of each other, I think, is the bottom line here.
Yeah. Let's talk about respiratory issues. High heat, you think, respiratory. No. Sometimes they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it is the season when we start thinking about flu, pneumonia. COVID is making itself known again. So just a couple of recommendations for what we call respiratory illness season. Flu shot, anybody 6 months and older needs to be getting that flu shot.
Right.
And the peak time to get that is September or October.
Okay.
But you can get it on through January. But the recommendation is September or October. And then you may have been hearing in the news about RSV. This can be especially serious for infants and older adults. But there is a vaccination now that's recommended for those who are 60 plus.
Oh, wow.
So if you fall in that age category, it's recommended that you talk to your physician to see if it's suitable for you. And there are a couple of preventative treatments that are available for babies and toddlers. So before they ever are exposed to the virus.
So you were mentioning medications for infants and toddlers,
yeah.
for RSV.
And those are not vaccinations per se. They're more antibody treatments. So again, preventative before they're ever exposed to give them more immunity if they are exposed. And then pneumonia. This is another one that's recommended for our older adults, 65 plus. And a lot of these can be done in the same visit. So again, ask your doctor, can I get the full spectrum of everything that I need?
And maybe after getting those in one day, you may want to take a little bit of a break that day.
And that too, if you need to have your physician put you on a schedule, I'm coming in for my annual checkup on this date, can we do a vaccination then? I'm coming up for a follow-up on this date, can we add another vaccination? They don't all have to be done in one whack. But if that's the only way you're going to get your shots, we really encourage you to do that.
Now, with the pneumonia shot, was it a few years ago where you had to do 2 shots and then you'd be completely good with pneumonia in the overall, or is it becoming that you need it every year, like the flu shot?
That's when you need to talk to your physician about what is best for you.
Okay.
A lot of our vaccines now are dependent on individual circumstances.
Oh, okay.
So
Same with COVID?
And that's a good segue into COVID. There is a new COVID vaccine, a new booster on the horizon. We're hoping maybe September that will be available. That will be more suited to the variants that are circulating right now. We have seen COVID numbers on the rise. This variant doesn't seem to be terribly dangerous. Hospitalizations are not rising like they did with some of the previous variants. But we do encourage everybody 6 months and older to get that COVID vaccination to the level that puts them up to date.
Now, do they also want to keep you if you've had the Moderna or the Pfizer, or do they recommend that you stay in that vaccine family to get those boosters?
The only ones available now are the 2 mRNA vaccines, and it doesn't matter. Most people prefer to stick with a brand,
right?
But there is mixing and matching allowed there.
Should we wait until that new, you said that a new vaccination type is going to come forward in September. Do we wait until that happens or go ahead and get the one that you previously would have got?
It kind of depends.
Okay.
You are considered fully vaccinated if you completed that primary series.
Okay.
You're not considered up to date unless you've had all the boosters that you qualify for. So if you would qualify for this new booster, I would encourage you to get it, and that would make you up to date on your COVID vaccine.
Oh, wonderful. Now, do you all do shingle vaccines? Is that another thing that individuals should be aware of?
Shingles you can get once you're 50 or older. Highly recommend that one as well. Hopefully that is going to be one of the vaccinations we'll be able to offer later in the fall through the health department.
Okay, that is great. What do people need to know about vaccines? You have some people that are really cautious, but I always say it's better to have the medicine than not have the medicine.
And that's true. You know, having the disease, no matter what disease it is, if it's vaccine preventable, is so much worse than any potential side effects you may have from a vaccine. And side effects are usually really minor. Usually it's just soreness at the injection site. Mm-hmm. You might run a slight fever, but that's actually a good thing because that means your body is recognized, I got this vaccine, something's different, I need to have a response. Mm-hmm. So those side effects, while sometimes a little bit unpleasant, are actually a really good sign.
When you are scheduled for surgery, let's say you have an upcoming surgery that needs to be done, do you need to wait on vaccines until after that procedure? I'm just curious that
I would consult with your physician, but usually the answer is no. But always consult with your physician if you've got two things happening simultaneously.
Okay. What are some of the other things going on that you want to make people aware of?
So something exciting, exclusive to Lincoln Control District Health Department, is we have a new mascot.
Oh, let's see.
So his name
let's bring him up here.
Is Lincoln the Lion.
Oh, I love
and
it.
I have a stress ball for you, a stress cat. Somebody dubbed him a stress cat.
Oh, cute.
Lincoln is a lion. He wears a top hat, and he has his own motto, which is safe and strong.
Awesome. Now these little stress balls Lincoln going to be available?
Yes, I've been taking them out to events. Surprisingly, he's been very popular with teenagers.
Oh, yes, definitely.
He was developed to bring young families back into services, but the teenagers like him too, so we call that a win.
Awesome. I'm going to prop this up on our table here so we can see it a little better. And do you all do individual agents attend the various festivals and things?
That is something that's going to be new for us. We've not done those before, but we're going to start taking Lincoln and our new mobile unit to some of the community festivals.
Wonderful.
If they make sense for young families to be there, it makes sense for Lincoln to be there, we want to be there to show him off. So he's out on some billboards. Our staff all have him on T-shirts. So if you see him out and about, that is Lincoln.
Awesome.
And to my students out there, or college-age kiddos, we have a Lincoln mascot suit. And we need somebody to wear that suit and perform when we go to these festivals and things. So if you're interested in being the Lincoln performer, Gina has my contact information, and I would love to hear from you.
I was going to say, especially young people who love theater, performing in any venue, if it's music, or singing, instrumental, and then being up on the stage.
Dancing, acting, any of those would be great.
Well, and I had a student not many years ago, and he got a scholarship to be a mascot.
Oh,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was started as a cheerleader in the program, and then started doing the mascot.
Cheerleaders would be good too.
They would be amazing.
Yeah.
There, and maybe with the different counties, we could reach out to those school districts too to see if we have some little impersonators or helpers. And definitely, he is against vaping, and he is against bad choices.
Again, his motto is safe and strong, so helping children learn healthy habits. So getting your vaccines, eating your vegetables, brushing your teeth, drinking water, all those things that help you grow up nice and healthy.
Right. And if you are sponsoring a community event and such, and you would like to see this lovely mascot, do get in touch with Melissa at the Lincoln Trail District Health Department. I want to go back to, you mentioned early on in regards to home services, in regards to addiction, fentanyl, that issue, and also self-harm or suicide awareness. What kinds of services does the health department provide or support?
So we have a harm reduction program, and in that program we have a Safe Communities team, and they focus on things like suicide prevention, child abuse, safe communities. And then we also have the harm reduction team, and they work on the syringe service programs. We have a peer support specialist who has lived experience with addiction and can come alongside somebody who needs a little bit of help. Part of that is our tobacco program. So she deals with vaping in the schools and helping communities pass smoke-free ordinances. So our harm reduction program is really active out in the communities.
Well, the whole thing, when we were talking about respiratory issues, vaping is just like smoking in terms of it does have a pronounced effect on your lungs. Is it pretty accurate? Correct.
Correct. Your lungs, your brain, your heart. And there's still things we're learning about what vaping does to the body.
Right, because it's still new and
it's still relatively new product, and it's constantly evolving, and kids are vaping different substances, so that changes how it affects the body too.
In the past, you've discussed like a teen or a young adult section on your website. Is that still viable, and do you encourage students to look at that as well?
Absolutely, and I just refreshed that section of our website, so there are defined sections for mental health, sexual health, vaping, for LGBTQ youth. And then there's just some fun things, some mindfulness activities, things like that. So if you just puzzles, things you want to do for relaxation, you just need that moment, you need a little help. There's a lot of good resources for teens and young adults in that part of our website.
Do you assist in any way in helping with someone needing transportation to the health department? Are there avenues or venues that's available?
Not at this time, but it's interesting you say that because we just went through our community health assessment process, and transportation was the number one issue that came to the top. So that is something we're going to be tackling with our community partners in the coming years.
I was going to say, in all my years I've been on this earth, it seems like transportation for those in need is still on the table, and they can't push it forward much. So it's still a frustrating thing.
It's really a barrier for a lot of folks.
Definitely.
But, it's going to take more than the health department to fix that. It's going to take a lot of people at the table to really fix that issue.
And it is fixable. It is something that could happen in this community. Melissa, where can people get additional information? Where do they need to go to? And so let them know what they can do.
So best source of information is going to be our website, which is ltdhd.org.
And you'll see those pages on our program today too, as you mentioned those.
And I sent you the link to his image, so you'll have that as well. And then follow us on socials.
Great. Now, do you all post any educational events that you're going to be sponsoring, such as a talk on vaping and its causes, or other issues?
Yes, we usually push those out through our social channels. So if you ever want to see what we're out and about doing, that's the best place to look.
Wonderful. Anybody need to know anything that we haven't touched on?
Vaccination season. Can't say that one enough. With kids back in school, people gathering like they traditionally did, get those vaccinations.
Yeah, and it's really important because that's your first safety net moving forward. And any vaccination can assist, especially in flu and COVID and all those types of things.
And it's not just children, It's from infants on up to senior adults. There are vaccines that protect you and protect the people around you.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, Melissa, and thank you for joining us at home. And we wish you a healthy fall season, but to take those precautions and commit to it, and that'll keep you healthier and our community healthier. So I'm Gina Ryan, Director of Hardin County Educational and Community Television, and thanks for joining us for EC3 HOSA Medical Moments.